Hi, my name's Nikita. I'm a skills champion and alumni member, and I also work alongside our international team as a coach. So today we have the lovely Gabrielle Omar joining us. Many of you guys might know her from the renowned BBC series The Apprentice, but did you know Gabrielle is also an architect and a director of an award-winning design company? So Gabrielle, would you just like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Omar. I have a company called Spot the Space. I'm an architect and interior designer, and yeah, I'm just very happy to be here today.
Oh, well, it's great to have you. So I suppose a lot of people out there will probably be wondering, what was it like to be on The Apprentice?
It wasn't planned, that's for sure. I didn't, think for years I'm going to be on The Apprentice one day. It was more by chance actually. It was one Sunday evening, and I was watching it on BBC iPlayer and thought, how does anyone get onto shows like this? Did a quick search, and by chance, the closing deadline for the next series was midnight that night. So I had a couple of hours, and I thought, well, I'm not doing anything else. So I got myself a cup of tea and I filled the form away. And the week after that, I was away for work on a business trip. So, because it was 2012, you didn't get emails really on your phone. So I didn't really get many emails. So I came back to London. I was looking through my emails on my computer and saw The Apprentice. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've been, they've emailed me back. So, but unfortunately, it was the interview was on Tuesday morning, and I'd only seen that email on Tuesday afternoon. So I'd missed it. So I emailed them back
Oh,
saying, I know you're doing interviews till the end of the week, so I'll see you tomorrow. They replied back with, so sorry, Gabby, there's no more slots until next year. I emailed straight back and said, no, I'll still see you tomorrow. And then they emailed saying, okay, look, there's a slot in Birmingham. If you can make it up to Birmingham tomorrow, then we'll see you there. So that's what I did. I got my flowery blouse, my fluffy hair, and got myself up to Birmingham, and then started the interview stages.
that is amazing. Do you know what? A lot of people should really have that sort of get up and go attitude, and that's the sort of attitude that a lot of our young people really need to take on board. So that is just amazing. And I suppose just to get you or to get started really with your career, what aspirations did you have when you were growing up, and sort of what did you want to be, and did that change as you got older?
So when I was younger, I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a journalist. There was quite a few things I wanted to be. And as I came to my GCSEs, my English teacher uh, pointed out that I had dyslexia. And I was, because I had my mock GCSEs, and I was just like, I think I was getting D's, E's, and U's. It was really, really pretty bad. And then she took me aside and said, look, you're reading the question wrong because you're answering a completely different question. So she then did a few lessons just to kind of show me how to read the question properly. And then from that point, I got A's, B's, and C's. So quite a big jump from my mocks to my finals. But my English teacher was an architect. She used to be an architect before she turned into an English teacher. And she was
Mm.
telling me about this during one of my lunch breaks with her, where she was trying to teach me how to read the questions. And because I was really good at design, so I really enjoyed like design technology and art. She said I should look into that. So that's how come I ended up looking into architecture. Though, when I got to my first day of uni, and they said, welcome to the first day of your 7 years, that was a bit of a shock because I don't think I read the prospectus there very well. Didn't realise it was like 7 years, but nonetheless, I did the 7 year course. But even that wasn't plain sailing. I didn't just stick to architecture. I did quite a few other jobs along the way. I had an online sweet company called Daily Dose, which it was like penny sweets in like jars. So you had like Daily Dose of Love, and it was like heart sweets in a jar. I had a company which provided like beauty bags for airlines. I opened up a shop which by day was like a printing design shop, and by night all the desks I designed actually folded up into the walls and became like an art gallery. So that way I then was able to almost print all the flyers and the business cards for the artists that would like showcase their work in the evening during my day job, when the place was actually a studio for design and printing. So I was also a photographer, a wedding photographer as well. So yeah,
Oh
I
my
did
goodness.
quite a few other things before I settled on the path that I was studying at uni, which is architecture. And even then, it was almost a bit of a, by luck or fluke, I guess, that it's worked out as it was. Because I didn't think, I think I was always unsure on where I was going to end up or what I was going to be. But it's not a bad thing, not being sure, because sometimes it will happen, but it's just when it happens. And how it happened with me is
Yeah.
I basically went on the Apprentice, got invited to a networking event where I met all of these big directors of these big developer firms. So all the these firms that make big buildings in London, and I went in, and the company I had at that time was actually designing. It was a graphic design company, so I went in and said, "Oh, look, I'm doing." Graphic design, I can do your brochures. And they said to me, sorry, Gabby, we don't, unfortunately, we don't, we do all of that in-house. So we've got people in our company that does all our brochures. The only thing that we pay people to do is stuff like show apartments. So, where you get an apartment for a development and you put furniture and stuff like that into it. And then they use that to sell the property. So, if you kind of dress up an apartment, then it's easy for them to sell. So, and I was like sitting there going, oh, no, well, I do that as well.
Sounds
And it was
great.
like, and I remember the guy laughing, going, really? I said, oh yeah, no, I do all of that as well, because I could do that. And this was Tuesday lunchtime, and he said, look, there is a job, but you won't win this job, because we've got two other companies competing for this job. If you're happy, we'll see what you can do. Here's the plans. Show us some design. Maybe in future we'll come to you. Anyways, this was Tuesday. I probably stayed up until Friday, drawing away, coming up with all the designs for my electrical layouts, and where I put the furniture and what colours to do the walls, where the lighting will go. And I gave him a pack on Friday morning and said, okay, here it is. This is my design for this apartment, and for this marketing suite. And he said, okay, fine. And then Monday morning he rang me up and said, Gabby, it was brilliant. Would you like to take the job and do the construction of it as well? And I was like, sure, yes. And then
Amazing.
and he's like, well, you have to start in 4 weeks. So I was like, okay, I'll start in 4 weeks. And that was it. And that's how come I got back into architecture. And that's how now I have Spot the Space. And the best thing about it, I realised that my issue with always starting up different businesses wasn't because I didn't enjoy architecture. I because I worked in architecture firms, but I wasn't sure I wanted to stay in front of the computer all the time. But actually, you don't need to, because you can go to site. So my normal day would be going to site, or it would be going to presentations, or we've got a joinery workshop where we do all these timber furniture and all that, and all these kind of things. So I help with that and find the processes of doing that. So it's quite varied, I do what I love now, so I'm never bored, and the projects change, quite often. That actually, it never feels like I've got the same job, which is always good.
So, what would your advice be for young people listening?
If you are passionate about design, you love drawing, you like problem solving, because that's really what architecture is all about. It's problem solving, and seeing how to fix things and how stuff goes together. Also, if you like sitting in the park and just kind of looking around at the buildings and seeing actually how they all interact with each other, and even like the room that you're in, and or like the museums or parks, or going to big city skylines, or if you like little quirky huts, or all these things, all shapes and sizes of buildings, has been got some sort of architecture to it. So if you enjoy kind of spaces and problem solving and design, then it's definitely something that I think would appeal to you, you should look further into. But like I said, it is a 7-year course, but it is broken up into 3 stages. So you've got a degree, which is 3 years, and then you've got your diploma, which again is another 2 years. You've got like a year out as well, where you do some work at an office, and then you do your masters, which is so degree is really about kind of teaching you how to basically how to break the design up. So I think when people, if you draw a picture, and then it will teach you then how to analyze that picture, how to make that picture then into a project or a three-dimensional kind of like structure. And
Mhm.
then you get to your diploma, and it's more then about kind of like investigating how that structure may move, maybe, or will it blossom or will it multiply?
Yeah.
And then you get to the last part, which is again your masters, and that's more about kind of law. Funnily enough, there's quite a bit of law in architecture, so kind of learning about contracts and law and all that stuff. But again, if you didn't want to end up doing the whole 7 years, you can stop after 3 years. You can stop after the diploma as well. So, but the skills that you gain from doing such a course are, I think, immense. Because, for example, I learnt how to do websites through doing architecture. I kind of really kind of honed in on my graphic design skills by doing architecture, which is why I opened up
Mhm.
both of those companies. I even photography actually came from doing my architecture course, because again you're building models and stuff, and you're doing a lot of like 3D printing and making kind of wooden models and all this. So and photograph, doing photography and getting the best pictures and stuff of your models is again something that you do. And then so I learned a lot of skills doing architecture, and it's just by chance that I'm still in this world of architecture. But I didn't need to be. I could have gone down the route of advertising or graphic design
Mhm.
or anything else. So it's a really good base point, I think, to learn how to get a lot of skills, which then could be used to do other things if you wanted to.
And I suppose just to sort of hone in on your business side, because there'll be a lot of people that'll be interested in this. What skills do you think is needed to be a successful entrepreneur?
So again, skills. Being not being afraid to try new things. There are so many opportunities that I have got just because I said yes and figured out how I would do the yes later. Like, for example, the story I told you earlier, when I got my first job, and they said, okay, you've got 4 weeks to start. And I was like, great. And I remember putting the phone down going, I've never built anything in my life. What do I do? So
Yeah,
I remember just, and I remember just being in a coffee shop, and then across the road there were some builders, and I went over and said, look, I've got this job, starts in 4 weeks. Would you like to work with me to help build it? And they said yes. And, we've been working together for like 7, 8 years now. And it's all
amazing.
because of I said yes on the spot and then figured it out later. So everything is scary, but you don't know how scary it is until you kind of jump in, and then you realize actually looking back it's not that scary. It's more fun, it's a challenge. So not being afraid to fail, I think, is really an important kind of key point. As long as you know that actually you learn from your mistakes, so actually the
Yeah,
more mistakes you do, and I have done many mistakes, and I've opened many businesses that may have not worked, or have done well or
yeah,
haven't done well. But it's all the learning that I have got from all of these, kind of like different businesses and these wacky ideas, and none of them, looking back, was a bad thing, because I learned something from it. Like I learned maybe how to be a leader, or how to organize things, or how to put things together, or how to deal with
mhm,
deadlines, or how to work with money and budgets. And so the more things you kind of throw yourself into, the more you realize you'll end up finding the thing that you enjoy. And once you find the thing you enjoy, it doesn't become work. And actually that's the point where I think everyone wants to be, where they're in a job that doesn't feel like work, and actually it feels like they're having a
yeah.
good time every day.
Oh, that is such amazing advice, because it's so true. you want to be able to enjoy your work. But honestly, amazing. Just to sort of finish off, what are you up to at the minute? Have you got any projects on the go at the minute? Sort of tell us a wee bit about that.
So funny enough, I've got a 10-week-old baby, and when I was 18
Oh,
months pregnant, yeah, I know, yeah, can you believe?
lovely.
Thank you. So when I was 8.5 months pregnant, I got a call from a company who wanted to do an interview with me over Zoom during lockdown. Wasn't sure what I was being interviewed for, if I was honest. I knew it was for possibly one day. They may want to use me on a TV show that maybe they are making. Didn't know much about it. So, but again, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm just going to go in and see what happens. So I went on the Zoom call. It was just just being myself, like you are. And again, you are incredibly good at this presenting. Like think you may take my job with the thing I'm about to tell you. So
Oh, stop.
I so I got I basically did a Zoom call, answered all these questions, showed them some of the work that I'd been doing recently, and and all the interiors and stuff I'd done, and all the architecture stuff I'd done. And then a week later, they rang me and said, "We'd like to give you your own show." And I was like, sorry, what? So yeah, by chance again, by just kind of throwing yourself in there and saying yes to stuff. And I was like, sure. So the show is actually called Quick Little Builds. It's 10 1-hour episodes, and each episode I do 2 little builds. So at the moment, and they're very different. So I'm designing stuff. Like yesterday I was in Liverpool, and I was designing a witch's cabin. I'm tomorrow in Wales doing a mega tree house.
Amazing.
I've done a longboat, which is turning into an Airbnb, a double-decker bus, which is turning into a home. Some kitchen extensions and all that, the usual stuff. So all very different, but I've never done presenting before. And with dyslexia, I found actually it was really hard for me to do presenting because I think it was more for the script work, because I was given in the beginning lots of scripts to kind of say at the beginning of each bit, where I was like, okay, so this is I'm going to meet this person and they're going to build this, and it was this long script, and I kept jumbling my words. And it was I remember just thinking, oh, I'm no, I've said yes to this and this is going to be terrible. And what am I going to do? But again, practice makes perfect. So I remember just going home in the weekend and trying to figure out how can I master this. So then I went back and said, look, I'm not very good at scripts. And don't be afraid to say, when you need help, or you're just being truthful. So I said I'm not very good at doing scripts. So could we shorten down what you want me to say, and then I repeat it to you in my own words? Because then if it's coming from me, it doesn't sound all over the place, which it was just like
Yeah.
and now it works, and actually now I'm really enjoying it because I'm not so scared of doing that bit to camera where I'm just like, so today I'm doing, oh no, I've forgotten the words, oh no, hang on, I've forgotten this, oh yeah, or just getting the words all jumbled up. And that's all because I was honest and said, look, it's not working for me, and now it's not, and they didn't mind. They were like, fine, it's absolutely no problem. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. But yeah, so always don't be afraid to ask for help, which is, I think, another key point.
Good luck with all your projects coming up ahead. If anybody out there would like to get a catch up on what Gabrielle is doing, please have a wee look at her website, which is www.spotthispace.com. It gives you a wee insight of her business that she runs, or that she's a part of. And yeah, thank you so much, Gabrielle, for joining me today.